Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WYTV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey friends, imagine how you'd feel living your life, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. That's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you, it's a very exciting life. And so can today's guest star, Dale Foster. Hey, Dale, welcome to the Something Significant Show.
Thank you, Matt. I'm so glad to be here. I look forward to this fun we're about to have.
Awesome. So just tell our audience what you're doing these days to leave your mark of significance on the world.
So about 30 years ago, I became a psychologist and began to become more and more adept at understanding some of the things that get in the way of our happiness and how to promote that on many levels. So I'm a little unusual in that I'm a neuropsychologist as well as a counseling psychologist. I also have religious training. I have a master's in religion, a PhD in psychology. So, I'm in and out of both spiritual and scientific approaches to happiness. And I've discovered they're science and religion, they're both saying the same thing with different languages and different methods. And the key in my mind is we're all looking for unitive experience. There's two kinds of experiences. We can have unitive experiences or fragmentive experiences. A unitive experience is what pulls us together. It connects us to the universe, to each other, to the future. A fragmentive experience is one of those that's traumatic. It breaks us apart. And so that's really the crux of what we're trying to do with religion. I mean, religion is to reconnect. Reconnect with what? Reconnect with ourselves. Well, most of psychology and counseling and psychotherapy, it has to do with resolving what? Trauma, fragmentation, breaking apart. So we got a world that's very broken, very fragmented. If we're though given as a child everything we need, our natural state is a state of flow, a state of unitive experience, a state of love and joy and peace and wonder and awe and beauty and miracles and magic, because it's all magic. It's all a miracle. It's all a miracle. Science kind of slices and dices some of those stuff, but it doesn't get rid of the miracle. It helps us understand how the miracles happen a little bit. So I've seen my own idea of what my purpose is evolve into, I'm basically trying to facilitate unitive experience.
Very good. We need lots more.
That's my task.
Yep, that's a very cool task, and we need it. So I'd like our audience to get to know you through the prism of what I call the happy formula. And this is capacity plus purpose plus giving equals really, truly, deeply happy. So Dale, let's get started with your capacity builders. What are your personal practices for building your capacity? Physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional. What are the things that you do to increase your capacity so you can take really good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over to give to others?
Physically, I'm very aware that if I'm ill, if I'm sick, if this body breaks down, I don't feel a unitive experience. So I realize I have to maintain and take care of my body. So I'm a runner. I run most days, and that's kind of how I get my cardiovascular health and keep myself from having high blood pressure and high cholesterol, like I said. I also do weight training, some strength training, flexibility training with yoga. I also do sauna, and I got a freezer in my garage, so I get the hot and the cold. I've got some back trouble, so I invert. I got an inversion system. I've got a vibration table. I do peptides. I do micronutrients. I look for my macronutrients. My wife and I have studied epigenetics, so we understand how the physiology is affected by everything, lifestyle, thinking. Every thought you think is a psychoactive process. It changes every cell in your body. So the physical can't really be separated from the mental. But I do meditate. I meditate daily. We found some really powerful meditations that help us. And so my wife and I do walking meditations. We have a flotation rest chamber, restricted environmental stimulation therapy. So I float. I think deep relaxation is one of the most powerful ways to access a unitive experience. So I take good care of myself physically. My Garmin watch tells me I'm 27 based on my VO2 max. So I'm doing something right.
Doing something right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then emotionally, I try to maintain relationships with my family, with my friends, with my loved ones. And that's really important. You have to have community. You can't have a unitive experience without a community, I don't think, because we're all connected. None of us are isolated. We're all important parts of each other's lives, whether we're friends or not. Every conscious being is connected to every other conscious being. And I won't go deeply into what I think consciousness is, but that's just one of the most important things. And that the spiritual thing, I believe, is the whole thing. You can't be spiritual without taking care of your physical body, your community, your emotional self, your mental self. One of the things that I do mentally with myself and my clients is neurofeedback. I'm a trained neurofeedback therapist, so we can literally read the brain waves and through operant conditioning, strengthen and optimize the neural networks in the brain. So the brain, in my mind, is the seat of free will. And the key in free will is attention. That's the one thing you have a little bit of control over. You can choose what to place your attention on. Now, you may have an attention deficit disorder. Well, I can help you with that. You may be a good attentional person already. I can still help you. I can help you optimize your neural networks. It's like tuning up your car. You can tune up a system and improve your gas mileage, improve your power, and improve your resilience. And I do that with people all the time with the brain. The goal, of course, being to facilitate unitive experience. And only you know when you're having it. That's the noetic part. So you have to know. And so people need to learn to trust their own access to happiness and joy and love 100%. And peace. And everybody on the outside wants them to please them.
Right.
To some degree. And every individual has to decide, my primary task is to find joy for me.
Yep, we use different words. I say, listen to your heart, because your heart knows where your happiness is. Get out of your head and get into your heart. So good stuff. Before we leave capacity, of which you apparently take a lot of significance, give a lot of significance to. It's a lot of good capacity building you shared with us. But before we move on to purpose, let's talk about an amazing capacity building concept called Kaizen, my favorite word. It's a Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. As a personal practice, it means there's always something you can do better tomorrow than you did today. And it keeps you moving forward every single day. So Dale, can you share how you apply Kaizen to work on a craft or a physical skill or a spiritual practice, or expanding your kindness or your capacity for kindness, or any other capacity that you're wanting to improve?
So I've written a book, or I've written most of it. It's not ready just yet because I'm adding chapters every day, almost. I've added chapters recently, but basically the book is called The Goldilocks Brain: How to Tune Your Brain for Happiness.
Love it.
And the most important point of the book is that your job every day is to habituate unitive experience. So what Kaizen does is it builds your momentum for whatever it is you want: joy, peace,
100%.
love, and
Yep.
and skill. And what are you doing when you do that? You're habituating those things
Yep.
you're doing incrementally, and that's the only way to habituate anything.
Yep.
You have to do it, and you can't wait till you're great at it to start. You have to start where you are. The only place.
That's why it's so good. It's small.
Yeah.
So you're not overwhelmed by trying to boil the ocean. You just need to scoop one little cup out of the ocean and boil it.
Right.
And then another one tomorrow, another one tomorrow. Next thing you know, you've boiled all this water.
Yeah. And I think it relates also to the ever new now. To me, that's kind of one important step into habituating unitive experience, is to realize that this ever new now, this moment right here, right now, I've got a little bit of wiggle room to throw my momentum one way or the other. And if I can just move a little bit towards joy or happiness or love or peace or connection, that's all I have to do. Just this now, this tiny little now, this constantly moving. And if I can just get some momentum going, it starts to get easier. And then I feel flow. And that's what Kaizen does. It opens up flow.
Yep. 100%.
Incrementally in the ever new now.
Yeah.
And that's when you get your pinhole enlarged to a fire hose, and you get that big feeling sometimes.
You're giving me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Okay, so in my second book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I explore the idea that major life transformations and discovery of purpose often come from devastation. Addictions, disease, death, disaster, some big crisis shakes your life. But I've used a happier way and discovered purpose in my life through inspiration. So Dale, the question for you is, was there a specific moment or event or crisis or some inspiration that revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
My younger brother, Dean, was 2 years younger than I, and he was born with severe cerebral palsy. He was unable to walk, talk, feed himself. But we were brothers. He was my closest sibling. And so we spent lots of time together. And there wasn't much we could do together but laugh. He could laugh. That's one thing he could do. And so it was during the 70s, and there was lots of humorous TV shows. Red Skelton, Carol Burnett, Andy Griffith, laughing. I mean, it's on and on, just the silliest, stupidest humor. And we would sit and we would watch all the funny shows. And I thought and he would get the jokes before I did. So I knew he was as intelligent as I, or probably more so. But the fact that he could still laugh, he could still appreciate humor. I mean, all kinds of humor. And I started to see that he couldn't do much of anything. He was carried, he was fed, he was in a wheelchair or on the ground, but he enjoyed life. And he laughed. And his experience is what mattered. He experienced his own joy, and he had the capacity to do that. And he was loved, and he was in a nice place, and he was well fed and comfortable and had people who loved him. So and that was part of it. But the fact that he could I realized how important laughter is. So when I talk to people, I often ask them, do they laugh? Or how was the last time you laughed? Or what do you think? What kinds of things do you do to make yourself laugh?
So how did your brother's experience act as a catalyst for your discovery of purpose?
I understood that his problem was his brain.
Okay.
Cerebral palsy is a brain-related problem, brain damage. He had trauma. He had physical birth trauma, damaged his brain, which made him unable to move or talk. The motor functions just didn't work. But the other functions, the emotional function, I mean, he had language. He understood language. He couldn't speak, but he could read. We did flashcards and stuff like that. So he could tell you whether he could answer a multiple choice question just by his face. But when I understood that it was a brain problem, I became interested in the brain. I began studying the brain. Awesome. I began looking at, when I watched the Neil Armstrong walk on the moon, and I saw the array of computers at mission control, I thought, man, if we could use computer science to help the brain overcome trauma, and that's what I do now. I often see people with trauma, and I help them train their brains to overcome their trauma through neurofeedback and neurostimulation. So that was a big, powerful influence on me, just to understand his predicament.
And that's really devastation and inspiration.
It was
your brother being devastated in a way, but it's in another way, it's not. It's like he just had a different life experience. And we from the outside view that as devastation, but maybe it really wasn't. So interesting. Okay, Dale, let's take a commercial break because I want to tell our audience about 3 things. A brand new online course and how it helps people discover their purpose and then design their life around it, and how they can save $100 on the enrollment fee. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made for good people. That's why I love Happy Living's online e-course. It's an 8-week-long deep dive into you and the inspired life you want to live. The life you were put here on this earth to live. The one that you and only you can live. 8 weeks of lectures and ideas and topics and supporting materials and powerful self-improvement tools. All designed for you. All designed to help you create the tools and the power and the confidence you need to discover your purpose and to discover the life you were meant to live, and to feel incredibly inspired and motivated to decide you will live your life to its fullest. It's all designed to help you create the unique and distinct philosophy of you and your inspired life. Go to happyliving.com, select our e-course, and save $100 with promo code WYTV7. And for every enrollment, I'll donate another $100 to WYTV7. For $300 and about 30 hours, I promise you'll never, ever be the same again. And we're back, and this is the Something Significant show, and I'm Matt Gersper. Hey friends, we created an e-course just for you to help you create the space you need to become self-inspired, to achieve your own greatness, and to leave your very own mark of significance on the world. 8 weeks from today, we could be celebrating a new you. But for now, let's get back to our guest star, Dale Foster. Dale, I've experienced how the real magic of life comes from that 4th element of significance, doing work that creates value for others. The real magic of life comes not from getting more, but from giving more to others. But it's not just giving. It's not just the giving that's magical. I've learned it's giving from living in your purpose. That's where the magic is. So will you tell us, how does giving to others from living in your purpose make you feel personally?
Excellent question. So I find myself seeing people come in my office, often after going down a long journey of trying to get help, typically from the traditional medical system, which typically medicates you, which typically narrows down your experience, and puts some types of chemical restraint on your ability to experience. And people want more experience. They don't want a constraint on their experience. So when they come to me and I help them balance their brain, optimize their experience, and talk to them about how they can learn how to live in flow, how to have an optimal life by tuning their brain with daily habits. And I train them with neurofeedback, and they go away telling me that they are 100% more joyful, 100% sleeping better, 100% free of pain, those kinds of things. That's my reward. I share it with. It's not that I just watch them get it. It's that when they feel better, I feel better, because we're all connected. This entire universe is all connected.
But let me ask you a little different way. So suppose that client, it was a friend of yours that you knew, and they got that same experience from someone else and they shared it with you. You'd feel good about it.
Absolutely.
But when it's coming from your purpose, there is an elevated joy, a profound joy, because as I see it, it's like you are giving freely to them from your authentic self, and that's helping.
Exactly.
So explain the difference between those two things from your perspective.
They're different, but the same. They're different when we're in our egos. And I think I'm separate, and your joy is your joy, and my joy is my joy. And I get joy from you having joy. That's beginning the connection. But when you have a true mystical unitive experience, joy and love are undifferentiated. You feel all the joy and all the love and all the peace and all the connection of all the world. And that's what they mean by self-transcendence. You kind of get out of your own ego, your boundaries. And to me, that's the main difference. We can have little unitive experiences. They're the little ones. Most of us have those regularly. You know, we'll see a friend and feel joyful. We'll have a good meal and feel joyful or good or happy. But it's the big ones that blow your mind. They blow your ego. They blow your boundaries. And you go away feeling both completely insignificant, at the same time feeling completely significant.
Yeah.
The quest for significance is answered in those big ones, the big unitive mystical experiences, and you can habituate those. It's called fundamental well-being. When you have fundamental well-being, you walk around, you're not afraid that you're going to go broke. You're not afraid somebody's going to kill you. You're not afraid of getting old. You're not afraid of losing something. You can't lose.
Right.
There's this internal fundamental well-being that you get reminded of every time you dive in there, that everything's always working out for me and everybody else. Because this universe, this whole universe is expanding. It's connected. It's a unitary singularity that's always connected. And I'm in the middle of it. And if I expand my experience, I'm doing the work of the universe. The universe wants to expand, evolve consciousness. So when I'm evolving my consciousness, I'm doing my part. And sometimes I just let that go and feel that the universe doesn't need me, but I can ride its wave. And so there's a separate egotistical significance that I can feel, but I can feel a deeper one when I just let it all go and realize I am the universe.
Yeah. Well, very cool. So it's a different way of expressing the profound joy that I've been sharing with others about the magic being giving from living in their purpose. But there's more, and it's really fantastic news that I've just recently discovered. It seems that giving also helps you discover purpose too. Yes, it's that the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on this planet. There's compelling scientific data supports the notion that giving one's time, talents, and treasures is a powerful pathway to finding purpose, transcending difficulties, and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. Let me say it again. This study says giving your time, talents, and treasures is a powerful pathway to finding your purpose and transcending difficulties and finding fulfillment and meaning in your life. So giving from living in your purpose brings profound joy and beautiful joy to your life, and giving your time and your talents and treasures is a powerful pathway to finding your purpose. So giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to profound joy. And that's the great, big, amazing magic of giving. And that brings us full circle right back to the happy formula, which is capacity plus purpose plus giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. And that explains why Dale Foster is so damn happy. Isn't that right, Dale?
I think you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. And what you just said is exactly what I was saying. Because
with different words, you use really big scientific-y words.
An individual's purpose, when they really get in touch with their purpose, they begin to discover that their purpose is the same as the entire universe.
Yeah.
The entire universe, its purpose is to evolve consciousness. It's expanding. Well, what's expanding? Consciousness. That's what's expanding. And so when I find for my little locality within this vast universe, what expands my consciousness, my purpose, I'm doing the work of the whole universe. And that's why it can become a unitive experience. I become one with the purpose of the universe, and I feel the joy of the universe. Joy is a feeling of connectedness.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this, the purpose is not the relevant thing. It's just actually getting in your purpose. So if your purpose is to be a janitor, or to be Mr. Happy Living and help others discover their purpose, or to breed Dale Foster and improve brain health, or to be B.B. King and play music his whole life, it doesn't matter what it is.
Exactly.
It just matters that you discover it and you try to build your life around it. Yes?
Yeah. You have to do you.
You have to do you.
Nobody else can.
That's right.
And if you're doing you, the universe is behind you.
Right.
The universe says, hey, I'm behind you. You got all the resources you need. You got all the support you need. You got all the connections you need. Just open your eyes and ears, and it's going to appear right before your very eyes. Just do you.
Good stuff. All right, Dale, let's wrap things up with a lightning round. I love reading my very favorite quotes and then have you respond to us, telling us what it means to you. And just give us the very first thing that comes to your mind so we can peer into your incredibly healthy brain. This one's from Billy Joel, paraphrasing Socrates. The more I learn, the less I know.
Oh, yeah. Who's learning is the ego. The ego is who's learning, and it's the part of you that thinks you're separate from the universe. And the more I learn, the more my ego has to realize it cannot contain the universe.
Yeah.
And the more I learn, the more my ego gets flexible enough to kind of take it off sometimes. And once you take your ego off, then you transcend your ego and you become one with the universe. I mean, this is the religious language, but it's also scientific in that we understand the quantum field is the dimension where all space-time is collapsed into no space-time in the singularity. And we can experience that. Now we've got some math. We're calling it the calculus of consciousness. And we're understanding how the I expands to the universe in experience, in the experience of the quantum field. And there are ways to actually practice that. Habituating unitive experience helps you practice getting into the field of all possibilities. And that really opens you up.
Yeah.
I mean, you find a desire, you're in the field of all possibilities, it becomes possible.
Awesome. This one's from my past. I don't know who the author is. Once you get where you want to be, you're not there anymore.
I think it's the same thing again. It's the you changes. Where you want to be, you think it's a destination, when once you actually get there, you realize the whole process is what you're looking for. You really want to be with the universe as it expands. There's no destination. There's no endpoint. The universe is not going anywhere. It's just getting bigger. It's growing at an accelerated rate, and you want to be there. Well, where is that? Well, it's everywhere and
Yeah.
everywhere that's going to. So there's this, I can't get to a destination. I only get into the process. Once I get to the destination, I realize I don't ever want to stop. There's no stopping. There's no
Yeah.
ending, because you
Yeah.
never finish.
Right. Right.
There's never an end point.
This expanding universe you keep describing, can I ask financial advice? Is that like the stock market? Are they very similar that I can, it just keeps expanding forever?
That's an interesting question. Because, see, what is money? It's an idea. Money is only an idea, right?
That's
it's
true.
our valuation of, and how much physical matter is there? Well, we haven't calculated that yet, and it seems to be getting more. So
it is
there's
getting
a
more.
relation there, but it's got to be because the mindset is the key. If my mindset is an unlimited, infinite mindset, then that's my reality. If my mindset is a limited mindset, then that's my reality.
Yeah. It reminds me, in the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu used to define the entire world as the 10,000 things.
Yeah.
And now Amazon sells about 10 million items.
Right.
It's amazing. Okay, last quote. This is from Goth. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Yeah, I think that has to do with getting into the field of all possibilities. You can sit around and want something, but you have the free will to move in that direction or not.
Yep.
And once again, it has to do with that destination thing. It's not, I really don't want every meal that I'm ever going to eat right in front of me at the same time.
Right. No.
I can't. I want one at a time, and I want to enjoy every bite one at a time.
Yeah.
So that's the joy of life is movement, the process of expansion.
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
Yeah, get in the game. My dog's getting in the game. Okay, so now, folks, it's your turn. If you can hear my voice over the sound of my barking dog, and you are inspired by today's show with Dale Foster, please show a little love to our brilliant broadcast host and donate what you can to WYTV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. And Dale, I just love your spirit and your enthusiasm for life. It bursts right through the screen. And I love your niche as a functional neuropsychologist and brain health coach, helping thousands and thousands of people improve their brain fitness, even when their brains are considered normal. And the chapter you wrote in our book, Codes of Longevity, about finding your limitless brain is a must read for anyone seeking to live a long, healthy, happy life. And Dale, I just want to thank you for sharing your powerful voice on our show.
Thank you, Matt. This has been a blast, and I love your happy living and all that you do for the world.
Awesome. Take just a minute, if you would, and share any parting remarks or comments that you'd like to leave with our audience.
Let me mention my upcoming not-for-profit. Like you have a purpose. You want to give to the world. I'm doing the same thing through what I call the Foundation for Unitive and Noetic Experience, FUN-E. I think that's what we all really are seeking. We're seeking unitive experience. The noetic part is learning to know that I know when I'm having a unitive experience. It's part of a unitive experience, but nobody can talk you out of it. Nobody can tell you you're not feeling happy or joyful or peaceful. You know it. And learning how to find it and know it, then it gives you the grounding for whatever your purpose is and whatever your skill set is. You can fulfill your life. So look for that in the near future. We're going to have opportunities for people to understand better what it means to facilitate unitive experience and to habituate unitive experience, because that's really our purpose in life.
What would happen if Funny and Happy Living had a baby, Dale?
It would be a funny, happy baby.
Very good. All right. I also want to thank WYTV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guests like Dale and reaching folks like you ready to create your own extraordinary dreams. And a special thank you to our sponsors, The Philosophy of You and Your Inspired Life and Happy Living. Remember, I'll donate $100 for each and every enrollment using promo code WYTV7. So tell all your friends, go to happyliving.com, select our e-course, and enroll together as a group. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Dale Foster. Find him, friend him, read his blog at neuroscience.net, or schedule a free consulting.
That's Neurosource. Neurosource.
I'm sorry, what did I say? Neuroconsulting?
Neurosource.
Yes, neurosource.net. And you can schedule a free consulting phone call on his Getting Started tab of his website. And finally, from me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be happy. We do the Something Significant show to inspire you to live your life to its fullest, to believe as I do that a better self is possible today and every day for the rest of our lives. And I hope you're feeling motivated by today's show and super confident and really bold too. And I hope you're ready to start taking action, to start moving along your path, the special one, the one that's made just for you, because that's where you're going to make your mark of significance on the world. And the world needs you to do it. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant show. And we're out.